Hitler suppressed the unions. Now, on July 21st, 1933, he outlaws the Social Democratic Party.
Die große Zeit ist jetzt angebrochen. Deutschland ist nun erwacht. Die Macht haben wir nun in Deutschland gewonnen. Nun gilt es, das deutsche Volk zu gewinnen.
The German people, for their part, can go on vacation. Henceforth, the Nazi Party is the only legal party. Its anti-Semitic slogans don't seem to stir many people up. They are largely indifferent to the fate of their Jewish compatriots, who, after all, only number 500,000, less than 1% of the population. Half the German Jews would manage to emigrate. Gerda Blackman remembers, "We succeeded in embarking on the condition of giving up everything we owned. The poorer German Jews would be stuck in Germany. They would be deported to the eastern ghettos, then exterminated in the camps." Opponents to the regime would flee, if they can, anywhere they can, especially to France, where they would later be trapped by the German occupation in the war and handed over to the Nazis. Many of those who cannot leave in time, or who choose to stay to carry on the struggle, would be captured and martyred in the camps. The vast majority of Germans would accept the totalitarian regime. Some would begin the day by hoisting the swastika flag, Germany's official emblem. The others, now that Hitler had muzzled the press, would read only Nazi newspapers. Their daughters, too, would learn the compulsory salute. Their sons would enter the Hitler Jugend, the Hitler Youth Movement, which will hone their aggressive tendencies. At school, teachers would show pupils how to handle weapons. Teachers would have to use down-to-earth, Nazi-sanctioned examples in math class, such as, how much does a pupil cost? A mentally handicapped young person costs the state 1,800 marks a year, the average pupil 320 marks, and a brilliant pupil only 125 marks. Answer: society can only survive if its citizens are genetically sound. The older daughters would join the BDM, the Bund Deutscher Mädel, the League of German Girls. It trained girls to be good wives and to bear many little soldiers. These would be killed at 10 years of age in the last combat actions in Berlin. However, the Germans are unaware of all this in the summer of 1933. Hitler is not yet the unchallenged supreme leader. To achieve this, he must continue numbing the nation by his propaganda. Such as the film Victory of Faith, that depicts the first Congress since the taking of power by the Nazi Party, now the only party. Hitler is well served by the talent of the young director Leni Riefenstahl, who charms him with her energy and beauty. With clever framing and lighting techniques, she glorifies the new god of a new mystique, a mystique of race, of the leader, of power and its apostles. Like the most loyal of the loyal, Rudolf Hess, one of the writers of the anti-Jewish laws. Like Joseph Goebbels, under whom propaganda has become an important ministry. Like Hermann Goering, who will resuscitate German aviation. And like Ernst Röhm, head of that horde of fanatics, the stormtroopers. Nothing gives cause to suspect that this film would be banned a year later, because Röhm, even though he has been Hitler's accomplice since the failed putsch of 1923, will be denounced as a traitor. Perhaps because he is too close to Hitler, or because the SA is too big. With 2 million members, it is a force that rivals the army. Hitler, to gain the army's support, will bring them into line and eliminate Röhm. It all begins the next summer, when Hitler travels to Italy to meet Mussolini in Venice. Hitler is impressed by his elder counterpart, his role model. He's seeking Mussolini's approval for his plan to annex Austria. Mussolini refuses. He doesn't want Germans gathering on his borders. He doesn't warm to Hitler, saying, "He makes me think of a talkative monk." He takes him on a tour of Venice, pointedly starting with his battleship fleet, while Hitler has no naval force. Hitler returns to Berlin, mortified. He understands now that until he rebuilds the armed forces, he won't be able to carry out his plans. Hitler goes to observe the maneuvers of the Reichswehr, the German army, reduced by the Treaty of Versailles to 100,000 men, few in number, but very well trained. Hitler knows that to wage war, he needs generals, admirals, competent officers, strategists, and trained specialists. He's always promised to free the army of the straitjacket of Versailles and to restore its troop and weapon strength. But the generals want more, in particular to get rid of Röhm and his stormtroopers, who are in a position to supplant the army. Röhm is also harshly criticized for having delusions of grandeur. He steals the limelight from Hitler. Industrialists are worried by his declaration that the National Socialist Revolution is not over. Goebbels says he's a Bolshevik in disguise. They've been partners in crime for 15 years, but Hitler's decision is firm: to eliminate Röhm, under the pretext that he's planned a coup d'etat. Hitler chooses his executioners: Himmler, head of the SS; Heydrich, head of the Gestapo; Sepp Dietrich, a former butcher who heads the Führer's bodyguard. Between June 30 and July 2nd, 1934, a period that Hitler calls the Night of the Long Knives, the SS murders Röhm and 85 other potential opponents and embarrassing witnesses of Hitler's past.